All right, cool. That's hard right there. You heard that little baby coming in, that little baby freestyle? I need that beat. I need that beat. What up, yo? What up in the chat? First person in the chat, holler at me. I can see 23 people watching right now. You got to excuse my congestion, my sinuses. Um, this weather is trash, bro. This weather is trash. Oh boy, let's see. We're gonna probably open Mets first. Pam, I can always count on Pam first. Ross, Ricky Ross. We're gonna talk sports. Spoiler alert. Live on the fan. I don't know if I'm gonna do the Giants. Maybe I'll do the Jets once we get later in the night. But it's a quick show. This show is starting now. I'm done at 2 with all the breaks. We got ads to hit right now. Bruh. The allergies got me, bro. The allergies are whooping my ass right now. I gotta champ it out for real. But yeah, I'm putting my notes together. I just don't I don't even have the time tonight to talk about what everybody's talking about around the Yankees, around baseball. It's so stupid to me, but you know, it is what it is. Let's see if I can do an entire opening monologue without saying the T word. You're getting some inside baseball here. Levi, what up, yo? Jersey Shore, sure thing. What up, Kevin? Rob Parker out in LA. What up, Rob? Appreciate you. Braves are getting whooped again. Yeah, that 80 games for Profar. It's crazy. Alex Verdugo about to get a shot, huh? And the Dodgers are incredible. The Dodgers are they're just really like that. Hate it or love it. The Dodger dogs on top. Who's texting me? Let's see. Oh, my doctor. I gotta go see him. Not for these allergy issues, but he's going to the Yankee game tomorrow. He's like, "You going to the game?" I'm like, "Nah, bro." All right, so we'll open Mets. We'll get into the Yankees, and then later tonight, maybe I'll talk Jets, Giants. Yeah, we'll start with the Mets. All right. Lindor. His kid's name is Cola. What is? Let me see this. Koa. Let me make sure I get that right. Don't want to disrespect the man. Don't want to disrespect his son. That's days old now. 2 days, not even. If you guys could see my notes are always, especially after I haven't been on for a minute, my notes are OD. It's too many notes, too many things. You know? And you know what I got to do while I'm on here, bro? Like, where's my stream at? I got 1 minute so we go live. If you see me go, like, I'm just blowing my nose real quick. All right. As a matter of fact, I need a better tissue. I swear these allergies, I thought I was prepared for them. You can't be prepared, y'all. Do I not have a tissue in here? All right. All right, gang. Sorry. All right, let's do a show here. Ready? Any questions in the chat? Any ideas in the chat? Bro, I just told my wife I gotta go to BJ's and get the Zyzol stocked. I got Astropro this weekend. I'm using Zyrtec, but that's the way. I'm going live right now. Ready? That's the radio station coming in. Mark, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, he should fire it up. All right, here we go now. I think we got to go back to just my like Yankee intro. I told you before about that they wanted to be shorter, but they haven't supplied. Yeah, but it's just there's one with just the Yankee, not the Keith McPherson. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it another time. Yeah, let's get it. New York City is Monday night, the last day of the month. April showers are hitting. It's about to be the first of the month. Wake up, get up. The Mets woke up. To the victors go to spoils. That's paid Pete. That's Pete Alonso. Oppo Taco Tuesday. We'll start Mets. Of course, we're going to talk about your New York Yankees. I mean, you love to see it. A great start to the baseball season. You can't predict baseball. And what I'll say is, listen, man, like, this is a short show tonight. I'm going to keep it to the sports because that's what we're all here for and what we have in common. And I don't think any of you really care that much about my personal life. I don't have any other jokes and stuff. This show will be over at 2 a.m. Welcome in, KM to 2 a.m. So, yeah, to the victor go the spoils, right? The Mets won tonight. The Yankees were off tonight, so we'll start Mets. And, I'm so tired of hearing people tell us diehard fans, like, I think you're a diehard fan if you're listening to WFAN with almost 20 minutes to go in the night to hear calls, to hear takes, to hear conversation around sports. You're a fan. Like, you would go to bed, right, if you weren't that into this. I'm so tired of hearing people telling us how to feel and what to do, what not to celebrate, what not to be into. Oh, relax. It's just this many games. You know what we do in the winter? We stare outside and we wait for spring and spring training. And now spring training is over and opening day has passed. And now these games count. So, we have to react to what we see. Now, some of you are going to call up and overreact. And when you call up and you overreact, I'm going to be like, oh, yo. Hey. Like, let me stop you. Let me remind you, like, we can't fast forward to October. We take this day by day, game by game, series to series, week to week, and month to month. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. So, we can jump on a few topics tonight, but we can't jump to conclusions. 888-808-1019. I just wanted to put that out there. I've been watching baseball for a little bit of time, and I understand you're not going to get anything from me proclaiming that this is this or that. Like, we don't know. We don't know who is who and what is what. We'll go through the Mets, the Yankees, and MLB news. Maybe we'll get to the Jets and Giants later. But like I said, to the victor go the spoils. So without further ado, the Make It Happen Mets. Yay! Put it in the books. The Mets win. No such thing as a must-win game on game 4 of the season. I was just saying this to Paulie, like, how many times are like must-win game coming up? There's no such thing as a must-win game. You could go defeated for your first couple weeks. But tonight was a night where the Mets had to win this game. Tonight was a night where the Mets came out and they did win this game, and they did it very convincingly, and the game was over in the 5th inning. This is a game with David Peterson on the mound. Shout out to him, picking up from where he left off last year. Question marks about whether he could do it again. Would he look like an ace again? I said that he was an unsung hero for points of the season last year in that late summer run. David Peterson goes out there and he's solid. Okay, a solo shot. Solo shot's not beating anybody. Sometimes, but they're not beating this lineup, this Mets lineup. He has a strong start. He gives up 2 solo shots, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 9 strikeouts, 3 walks over the 6 innings. And this was a day where the Mets go out there without their captain. This was a day where the Mets go out there without the runner-up in the National League MVP, Francisco Lindor. Congrats to Francisco Lindor and his wife, Katia. Their son was born on Sunday, Koa. And so Lindor was not in the lineup today. What I read was they were in Orlando having the child. Obviously not that far from Miami to get there. We know Lindor is an Ironman. He wants to play every day. Mike Puma asked Lindor on his decision to rejoin the team today following the birth of his son, and he said, I wasn't having a baby. My wife did. She said it was okay to leave, and I left. I was also saying pre-show to Paulie, as my son will be 2 years old, and we'll talk about not taking your kids to the ballpark. That's the only place I'm going to veer off tonight. Not for long, but it's something I got to speak on. I'm like, you're not supposed to say that as the dude, as the dad. You're not supposed to say, I didn't have the kid. We know you didn't have the kid. You're supposed to be there and support your wife. But I guess when you're Francisco Lindor, the $300+ million man, and it's your third kid, like you could say that, and his wife's not tripping in. Like he said, she said it was okay. I left. So congrats to the Lindor family, and congrats to the Make It Happen Mets. Sometimes you need a little shakeup like that, right? Something else that I'll say is like, forget the Houston series. Forget about Dyken Park. That is over. Like, it doesn't matter. It won't matter. It was disappointing. It was somewhat of a slow start. Just forget it and move on. Turn the page, right? Apple TV game on Friday, where the Yankees don't play on Friday. So you get the whole city watching and the whole, baseball universe watching Apple TV on Friday. Shout out to Juan Soto. I bet on that homer. And if you were listening to my show on opening day night, Thursday, what did I say? I wasn't trolling. I wasn't laughing at Soto. I'm also not like one of these Yankee fans that Mets fans think are hurt or coping. Like, I'm good. We'll get to the Yankees team and why I'm good on the Yankees. But like I told you, I watched Juan Soto last year. After game 1 ended with the bat in his hands, him striking out with Josh Hader on the mound to take that L, I'm like, oh, he's coming back. He's homering tomorrow. If I were you, I'd bet on that. So I did bet on that and use the profit boost. And Juan Soto homered, and it was a no-doubter. And that's the type of guy he is, and that's the type of guy he'll be, but he can't do it on his own. Even the double he had, that double is not a double. That's not a double in other parks. But it was, and boy, did the Mets need it, because they would end up getting one hit, whatever. And I lost money betting on the Mets. I thought they were going to come out in the rubber match and take that one, but whatever. It's a weird schedule anyway. You don't play on a Sunday. That's in the past. We don't even have to talk about the Houston Astros. I hate the Houston Astros. Like, people think I hate the Mets. People think I hate the Red Sox. No, I hate the Astros. I was honestly rooting for the Mets to beat the Houston Astros. And you know what? The Astros did not have to score too many runs to beat the Mets. But hey, whatever. They saved it for Miami, and they're going to need it for tomorrow's game. That's why I say you can't really have a must-win game this early in the season. But when Sandy Alcantara is on the mound for the Marlins, right, their ace, a guy who was one of the best pitchers in baseball, and Kodai Senga's on the mound, and we're excited to see ace versus ace. But, neither one of those guys pitched much. Neither one of those guys pitched much last year. In a must-win situation today, the Mets come out, they score 10 runs. That's a big 10-4. And obviously, late in the game, Danny Young, whatever. It only sucks because the bullpen had been nails and hadn't given up any runs. So you would want a cleaner win, and you'd want to keep that intact. But whatever. The biggest things that I saw from the Mets, and Pete Alonso said this. Stay tuned for our big shot of the night. Pete Alonso said they had good at-bats, and they did. Right? The Mets came in tonight where it's like, okay, Starling Marte, you're going to lead off since Lindor is gone. And he homered. He gets an opportunity, and he homers. So, this is a guy that was thinking he lost his opportunity, or, was not going to get as many opportunities, and he makes the most of it. He's a pro. Even a young guy like Acuna, who Lindor talked about him being bored and him needing to be in these type of games. Well, man, he's got to play. Obviously he started at short tonight, but like his speed, his athleticism on the series double, him motoring, speed kills, right? After Marte ties the game up, you're able to take that 2-1 lead and not look back. 888-808-1019. The Make It Happen Mets. Cal Quantrill, they left the boy out there too long. You know, he had it going a little bit for a little while, and then eventually he gets got. And I mean, with Pete Alonso, again, forget Houston. There's so much talk about, even what Lindor didn't do in Houston and what Nimmo didn't do. Well, you know what? They go to Miami and it's mostly Mets fans down there. They go to Miami and it's a very like home sounding crowd and it's an opportunity to get right. And they did. I think that was Pete Alonso's fourth grand slam of his career. He's, I think, 25 or 26 home runs. I got to go back to my notes if I could scroll through my notes, away from the Mets all-time record. I was listening to how we call the game, and it made me think. I'm like, okay, so we're going to be doing this Pete Alonso home run counter for the whole season until he gets to the franchise record. Like, that's something to look forward to. That's something kind of cool. 888-808-1019. For him to come through, go Oppo, for him to come through and blow that game open from 2-1 to 6-1, the polar bear, Pete Alonso, all the talk in the offseason, him getting paid, what he got paid, that's him making you feel like you're getting your money's worth. That's him saying, like, I still got it. He said it's been a while, right? To homer like that in a big league game, it feels good. I can do it. And he comes through when Lindor isn't there. He comes through when, it isn't necessarily Soto to get it done. But shout out to Soto. I saw Soto make some plays. There was one ball that like got under his glove, but it didn't matter. Siri was there to back him up. I saw Soto make plays going to his left and his right. Soto has a home down there in Miami, so he was back at home. Good for him. Good for Luis Torrens. Good for Brandon Nimmo. Good for the Mets to go to Miami and beat a team where if they lose to the Miami Marlins, who have been scrappy, right? They beat the Pirates, and they took 3 out of 4 from the Pirates, and they were on some never say die, like walking them off. And if the Mets go into Miami and lose to the Miami Marlins, the conversation is, this team combined doesn't make as much money as their right fielder Juan Soto. Look at their payroll. Look at the poverty Marlins. Oh, didn't happen. So it sets up for a game tomorrow that you absolutely need to. Show no mercy to the Miami Marlins. You got to bully them. Show no mercy to a division rival. That's another thing with the Houston series. It's interleague. It's AL. It is not going to matter as much. These division games absolutely matter. So starting with the Mets, 888-808-1019. That is a good outing. That's a good night. That's a must-win game. You put 10 runs up, 11 hits. You go out there, multiple guys homer, and you needed it with all of the conversation around the other team in town, the New York Yankees, the 27-time champions, who now I'm just hearing all this stuff about, oh, they're the evil empire still, and all this shows that the Yankees are back. Like, the Yankees never left. They were just in the World Series a few months ago. The Yankees still have one of the highest payrolls. The Yankees were the team to kick off the season at 3:05 nationally televised game with Joe Buck. Now the Yankees are back because everybody's like, bro, I don't know. I think it's good for baseball. I think that there's no such publicity as bad publicity. I think that every show across the country has to talk about this in baseball, and it's a layup for them to talk about this in baseball, but I'm not going to talk about it because I don't care. I was really hoping that by tonight, a lot of you would be over it, specifically Yankee fans I know are over it, because there's not much of a conversation to have about what they're doing unless you want to get deep into the stuff that's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll indulge some of you. I know I'm going to have to, but this is what I want to say about the New York Yankees. They needed that. We needed that. And again, let people enjoy things. Don't let anybody rain on your parade. Don't let anybody tell you how to feel as a fan. I had a take when I was on Thursday, and I saw it get written up, and I saw some people online take it the wrong way. Whatever. People are dumb online, especially anonymous people that just like, they say too much. That's another thing with this whole thing. Shout out to my Uncle Ray. My Uncle Ray had a quote. He used to be like, if you didn't talk so much, people wouldn't know how dumb you are. It sounds harsh, but it's facts. All of this stuff around the Yankees, people are saying things, and I'm just like, you guys are dumb. You guys are stupid. They're super stupid. Dumb. But whatever. What I'm saying here is, with the Yankees, them coming out and winning opening day, right? Sweeping the Brew Crew, and the Brewers got off the hook completely until we saw today the Kansas City Royals put an 11 spot on them, and then people said, "Oh, maybe they just can't pitch. Maybe they can't hit either." In their home ballpark, they got ran out of their home ball. Like, they're having a tough go at it. Nestor Cortez is their number 2 starter. Like, I was at the game Saturday. That's the game. At some point tonight, I'll tell you about bringing my almost 2-year-old son. You can't predict baseball. I just wanted to go to, family Saturday, first Saturday of opening weekend. It's going to be 77. It might be cold for the next month. I don't know how many cold April games I've been to, but I don't like them. I got to take advantage of this one. And did I know that they were going to come out? Boom, Goldie, bomb, boom, belly, a back-to-back, a belly-to-belly, boom. Like, it was like, to watch live, it felt like a simulation. It did feel like a cheat code. But ultimately, like, when I say the Yankees needed this, and I talk about the take that I had, and people are dumb online, the take that I had was about how good opening day felt, and how that memory of opening day erased the last memory that we had from Game 5. Obviously, everyone knows what happened in Game 5 of the World Series, but I'm talking about stadium goers. I'm talking about fans that were at the World Series and also at opening day that saw those 2 games live. I'm talking about all the people that I see at Yankee Stadium that I really only see at Yankee Stadium. We had to wait months to get back into that building. We had to wait months to get baseball, to get a new game, to get a new experience, to be in the front of our minds and push that terrible experience into the back of our minds. And here we are. The whole weekend was great. If you got to go to one of those games, you went to all 3. Yankee fans absolutely needed this. That is how you start the season. If you ask me, they got the best start in baseball. I don't care that the Dodgers went to Japan and played 2 games. Those 2 games weren't offered to the Yankees. The Cubs lost. I didn't watch a second of those games at 6 a.m. to 8 o'clock. That doesn't matter. Look at the run differential. Historic. They made history. Those should be the headlines, that the Yankees are picking up where they left off, and they're on a mission. They're on a warpath. They have a vengeance. I remember last year saying, Jazz, I don't like how much Jazz is talking about the World Series. We're going to bring 28 back. We're going to win the World Series. Sunday, after his 2 home run performance, Meredith interviewed him, and he said, yeah, we're trying to win the World Series. And I didn't feel the same. I didn't feel so, don't say it. I felt like, duh, the bar is always the World Series. But now that the Yankees went to the World Series, lost the World Series, the bar is set a tick higher. Get back to the World Series and win it. And there's no reason to shy away from it. This lineup is deeper. We'll talk Yankees defense. The defense will be better. We know there were injuries, whatever, but it is a team with the best player in the game on it. Don't shy away from it. Your thoughts become things. And if everybody wants to say they're cheating and come up with all this other nonsense, no. They have a team that's locked in, motivated, that goes as Judge, the captain, goes, and they have some other stars and some other people with things to prove. It's World Series. It's World Series. And you can say it and you can speak it into existence because there's no reason to run from it or hide from it. Yankee fans want it. And this is how you start the 2025 season and put last year behind us to get to the goal. 888-808-1019. We'll start talking more into what the Yankees did this weekend with the 20 runs, 36 total, all the home runs. We'll talk about the Mets pitching, the Mets bullpen, the Mets lineup. And we'll take your calls at 888-808-1019. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. I will be right back. Oh, my nose was running that entire time, yo. Hold on. Yo, my nose was running the entire time. Like, my nose was running the entire time. But you can't blow your nose on the air. Nick Turturro in the chat. Yo, I got a lot more, bro. I ain't been on since opening day. Appreciate you rocking with me, bro. Your video has been killing. Next time I go out to LA, I gotta check you. I think I see you in Cali, right? You're in LA, Hollywood. Let's see. I did not hear that. I did not hear Howie Rose. By the 7th inning, I was done because the game was over. The Yankees had a good game. Matt overrated Miami, Washington trash. Yeah, we'll see. Howie in the Mets booth was doing cartoon voices from El Blanc, Daffy Duck. You won't get that from Dave and Susan. So that's funny. Yeah, because we got to be serious around here with Yankee baseball. Yo, what's up?
Keith, Jennifer, that's Keith.
Yeah, we met.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm on the live, so I'm talking to people in the chat. I gotta get another tissue. All right, yo, BRB.
It seems like there's always at least one around. That's good.
Okay, so if you're in after Act doesn't, he either has his own or he doesn't like him. I'm not sure which. Okay, so the first thing you do is log in. The next thing I do, I get rid of all the stuff that's in here so that I don't have to see.
Yep.
And then I go to fan general. After 12, bring it down. Publisher's the last one. Configuration, font speed. Both of these cards claim to be here. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to do it again. And then I just do that sort of stuff. But you need to open general. You don't have to bring it down. You technically do that here, but I like to see it.
Yeah.
And these, because they showed up, don't trust it. Don't ever trust it.
Okay.
Always take the clip and put it back in.
Put them back right here.
Put them back where they were.
Okay.
I know the first one was this, and I know the second one was that, so that's why I put it. You can do it 100 times as well.
Okay.
The only thing is to keep in mind is that this computer, it has it potted up at all times, so don't click on it until, otherwise it'll air right now with connection.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not going to pot it down because he's going to trust that you know, and you're going to also know that you need it.
Yeah.
So usually the board ops, so I'll just have it up all the time, which is fine. Just don't click on it. And then this is it's not an exact. So whenever you hit it, when you hear like whenever you hear the laser, that's basically where you're going. Like this one, nobody throws to you. Your fan update is 99% of the time, so you're out of break. Sometimes you're supposed to throw it, but even then, they'll still play the ID, so it's still good. You could wait for the producer to hand it to you. I feel so responsibility. Go get them, have them, do whatever you gotta do them, and so. Good morning, it's 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti, and this report is brought to you by New York State Tax Department's Direct File Program. Well, Pete Alonso here will open up the floodgates for the Mets. Highlighted a 7-run inning, more than enough for David Peterson, who fanned 9 over 6 innings, a 2-run ball as the Mets with the Marlins 10-4. That's Howie Rose to call Odyssey Mets Radio. Meanwhile, Aaron Glenn seems to enjoy his Jets trying to fly under the radar. Mets surprised the Mavericks 113-109, erasing a 10-point deficit in the fourth. D'Angelo Russell, 18 points and 11 assists. And the Devils able to survive the Wild in a shootout, 3-2. 59 degrees, raining in Central Park, and that's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's do it. 4-1. It's April 1st. Just like that. Would you look at that? It is April, New York City. We are moving along here on brand with the April showers, but hopefully we get more of these 75-degree days, 80-degree days, some sunshine, some good baseball on both sides of town. Keep McPherson on the fan, 888-808-1019. We're talking Mets. We're talking Yanks. I was looking at my notes to try to get the Pete Alonso tracker. Pete Alonso's grand slam, the fourth of his career. That puts him at 227 home runs all time. Behind David Wright at 242 and Darryl Strawberry at 252. Polar Bear Pete. He's paid now, and he's papered up Pete. And this year is going to be about chasing down that all-time record, clearing the bases like he did tonight with guys getting on base in front of him, you know, getting those ribbies up, getting those homer numbers back up, having a banner year, a bounce-back year, a better year than he had in the year before, and I think he's on pace to do that. 888-808-1019. Mike is in Monroe, New Jersey, first on the fan.
Keith, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm good. I want to talk about Pete Alonso. I think that, there are certain players that just you feel like they belong on certain teams, and they're going to play better on certain teams. I think if he would have left the Mets, he would have been lost. I mean, you've seen it in other sports too. You know those players that they just feel like they play for that team, that they're not going to play that way for any other team. That's just the way I feel about Pete. It's just, he's got something about him that he's a Met, and it's right with him in the Mets.
No, I understand that. Go on.
I know you're all happy about the Yankees, but the Yankee fans I know, a lot of them are saying, man, where was this when it counted the most? Where was Aaron Judge in the World Series?
Thanks for the call, Mike. 888-808-1019. No, I don't know. I definitely know more Yankee fans than you know. I could just guess that. I didn't hear any conversations like that. I don't think there's anyone. That's why I said, what am I saying? Let's say when we start doing stuff like that, I'm gonna pull y'all back. I'm gonna say, whoa. I don't think there's any one Yankee fan that's actually a real Yankee fan. I mean, real Yankee fan. I'm talking about you watch the games. You watched the games last year, and you've watched these games. I don't think there's any real Yankee fan taking, the first 3 regular season games, where by the third game they were walking Judge. I don't think there's any real Yankee fan saying, where was this when it mattered the most? It's March. You can't apply that to what you saw in October. Completely different. Different stakes, different atmosphere, way different competition. The Brewers are a trash can. The Brewers, like, come on. Y'all gonna get me to go in a way I don't need to go yet. Thought we were talking about Pete. And what I was gonna say with Pete is like, yeah, I feel you with that. Pete looks right in the orange and blue. That's all we've ever known. That's all we've ever seen him as. He's the guy. He's been the guy through all these different iterations of the Mets. He's been the guy for years. Before all of these different guys came in and left and whatnot. So, like, yeah, Pete Alonso seems like he's a Met, and he is. And tonight was his night. And good for Pete. After all the conversation in the offseason about him potentially being a Toronto Blue Jay. And, with the Blue Jays, let's imagine this. He did sign with the Blue Jays. And Vladdy is at first, and he's DHing. He might be zapped like that. We're looking at Devers right now. Rafael Devers is struggling this year. And people are saying, oh, he's hurt. He's overweight. No, you know what he is? He's a third baseman that vocalized, I'm a third baseman. I play third base. And they told him, no, you're not a better third baseman than Alex Bregman. We're paying him $40 million a year. Like Judge is getting paid $40 million. They're paying Bregman $40 million. Like, Bro, we're going to talk about that too. And when I get to judge, the $40 million a year is a bargain. But like, you following what I'm saying? Let's say Pete took a deal from the Blue Jays, one that we've never, it never actually materialized. But in some other alternate universe, Pete is a Blue Jay and he's platooning with Vladdy and he's playing first some days and DH and other days. That's a tough transition on top of him being in another country. Like, Pete is a Met. And we'll see what happens this year. We'll see what happens next year. Not a guarantee that Vladdy is a free agent either. The Blue Jays could sign him. But, like, I'm making the comparison to Rafael Devers. Rafael Devers now has to sit in the dugout when his guys are out on the field, and it's an adjustment. Giancarlo Stanton had to make that adjustment here with the Yankees. 888-808-1019. Now we're talking Yankees a little bit, and, Giancarlo Stanton's got the bad elbows. And now everybody is saying, hey, it was because of the bat change. And it's just funny, right? We heard about the bat change weeks ago. We heard about it during spring training, and nobody thought about these bats that are being talked about. Like, I also don't think that, and I'm hearing this narrative that, hey, take it easy. It might lead to some of the Yankees that are using these bats have some type of elbow issues or problems. No, yes, you guys seen Stan? How many baseball players look like Stan? I think Stanton is a product of his own working out. He's so muscle bound. He swings so hard. He's also a product of his own stance and swing. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Let's talk Yankees with Joe in New Haven, Connecticut. What's up, Joe?
How you doing?
Good.
It was a great lead-in because you know how much of a Stanton fan I am. But I don't even believe any of that narrative made a difference. And the difference that I feel about these bats, I think is like it's mental. Jazz didn't even use the bat much at all, and then now he's hot. He's a good hitter anyways. There's a lot of hittings in your head.
Yeah, thank you. Pete Alonso today was asked about the bats. He said, yeah, I might order some and try them out, but he said it's the arrow, not the Indian. Or it's not the arrow, it's the Indian. He should have said it's not the arrow, it's the archer, just to be politically correct.
That makes sense for Pete though.
Yeah. On brand for Pete. He's not thinking about that at all, but whatever. The other analogy they were using is it's not the wand, it's the wizard.
I hear you on that. But listen, I love to see the way the Yankees have started, and I just think that let them play the narrative that it's all the bat. And I loved Soto when he was with us. Trust me, I loved him more than any Yankee that has come to our team in a while. But he just came into a great spot. He's not a 350 hitter or 30 home run guy. That he can be replaced. And I think that they did a good job, picking the pieces up and coming back.
Correct. And he's not better than the guy that just won American League Player of the Week. Thanks for the call, Joe. 888-808-1019. I'm hearing all this back and forth between Mets and Yankees fans, and I hope it dies down a little bit so that we can ratchet it up again in May when the Subway Series starts. Go back to your corners. Go back to worrying about your team. Go back to, and I just said you can't tell fans how to feel, but I'm asking some of you to just knock it off. It's super corny, and specifically here at WFAN, some of the hosts got to lay off of it too. Stop saying what other fans are thinking. You don't know. Like you just heard Joe say he loves Soto more than anybody else, and I can relate to that. Yeah, because more than anybody else stepping in that batter's box, you had faith in Juan Soto. But you also knew in the back of your mind he was a rental. It was a one-year thing. He might come back, he might not. So as much as you loved him, you knew he wasn't yours. 888-808-1019. And now that he's not a Yankee, he's not ours, Yankee fans, I think most people are over it. The conversations that I've been having, that I was having Thursday at opening day, Saturday, they didn't involve Juan Soto. Now, I get it that there are people hate watching Juan Soto, and I told you guys that a couple weeks ago. I said, this is going to go on for a while. It's not going to be a one-year thing. You have the superhero, Mets fans. Juan Soto is on your side. He's going to work his walks. He's going to hit doubles. He's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And like, I gave him credit already. Go look at some of the plays that he made tonight, running the ball down in right field. Like, he's going to play defense too. But now Yankee fans have a villain. Somebody was asking me, because like, shout out to Dominguez. People are already ready to jump on Dominguez and Devin Williams, right? Devin Williams, obviously, in the first game, gets the Bronx cheer, gets the boos. I had an 8-year-old kid in front of me in Delta that was booing him. And I'm tapping the kid's seat like, yo, bro, chill. We need this guy. Don't do that. Don't do that. like, it's the Bronx cheer. Boo. We boo everybody. They booed Hal Steinbrenner on Derek Jeter night when he came out with a $2,222,000 contract for Derek Jeter's foundation. He got booed. But, Devin Williams, his first outing against his former team being the guy that got the beard policy removed, he gets booed. He fights through it, throws 36 pitches, whatever. Then you don't see him the next 2 games. Speaking of the beard policy and stop playing Frank when we lose, New York, New York only being the win song, all you heard was start spreading the news, I'm leaving today, because the Yankees didn't lose at home. 888-808-1019. That is great. And you haven't heard any boos outside of Devin Williams. But I mentioned Dominguez. Dominguez Saturday, he goes to DH. And there were a lot of Yankee Twitter's people, like, so many people got to relax. I just want to talk about reaction. There were a lot of Yankees Twitter people overreacting to the lineup after an off day, the second day of the season. And then that lineup just got put into Cooperstown. There were so many, what's going on? What is this? What is a Aaron Boone lineup? How's this going to work out? Great. Better than ever. 9 homers, 20 runs. And, Dominguez is the DH. And we saw the game before they took him out and they put Belly there and, had Grisham in center. That's going to happen. As much as we made of his defense in left field, the Yankees are not going to let that be a problem late in games. They're not going to let it cost them. And I'm fine with it. He's young. He's learning. Give him the opportunity to be young and learn. We all saw the game Sunday, and he caught that ball and left, and he made like a snow cone out of it. And he kind of laughed it off like, well, that was close. And then on the broadcast, I think Paul O'Neill and Joe Girardi, they talked about his mechanics. And, like, I think Paul was talking about, yeah, you want to get your glove up higher so you can watch that ball into your glove. He had it. I'm like, I don't know how. We're still talking fundamental things. But I know it's a lot to play in Yankee Stadium, whatever. Then Stroman, shout out to Marcus Stroman too. Marcus Stroman's going to be all right. All the narratives that were pushed on Marcus Stroman for months, if they're going to bang like that, Stroman will be serviceable for us. It'll be fine. Stroman wanted to finish that inning. That ball that dropped in front of Dominguez, he chose to stay there and block it like a hockey goalie, and it kind of bounced off him and went to his left. He could have charged it and made the play. A more confident left fielder, a confident outfielder probably charges it, makes that play, and picks Stroman up. But Dominguez is not confident in his abilities out there yet. And, he didn't want to make the mistake there with 2 outs. You guys saw the game. But, like, little things like that are happening where there are Yankee fans that are ready to pounce. The Bronx cheer, ready to boo. I don't know how many years. I do know how many years. In my 4th season on WFAN, I said somebody's always the whipping boy, whether it is Aaron Hicks or Joey Gallo or Josh Donaldson or DJ LeMahieu. You can love the New York Yankees, and there's always one whipping boy that gets the brunt of the ire, the boos from the fans. Right now, we don't have one. And in my circles, I was talking to somebody, and I made the joke. They said, who's the whipping boy, Keith? I said, Juan Soto. I was like, I'm at the game, and they're chanting F Juan Soto like I told you they would do months ago. I'm at the game, and I'm like, there's no more hate for Altuve. That's old news now. That's 2017, 18, 19, 20. Now it's F Juan Soto. Like, they're firing up Judge, MVP. And then the frat boys break into F Juan Soto. So who's the whipping boy? The whipping boy for the Yankee fans is Juan Soto. There are Yankee fans hate watching him. There are Yankee fans that are just loving when he struggles. And he's not going to struggle much, but, like, we got to go back to our corner some. We got to stop the big brother, little brother stuff. we're both big brothers in our own ways. And obviously, the Mets cannot measure up to the Yankees in so many different categories. Let's just see how this season goes. The first 3 games for the Yankees don't make them champions or kings of anything. And losing to the Astros don't put the Mets in the bottom or write them off from doing what they got to do. 888-808-1019. John is in Bayonne on the Fan. What's up, John?
Keith, my man, I figured I'd get on the Fan, listen to the Fan today, and they would say, wow, the Yankees are shocked us. Their offense is that good. They are that great of a team. Nope. They use the excuse the bats. Nope. The Milwaukee Brewers pitching staff stinks. Nope. No credit at all. I'm saying to myself, don't the Yankees play on this station? I mean, come on. Don't they pay your salaries?
Yeah, I mean, this is the Yankees radio network. You would think that there would be a little, I don't know, go on.
So when it came down to Keith, when was the last time there was 1, 2, 3 in a row MVPs in a batting order? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's tough to do. It's especially MVPs that like all won in the last 5-6 years.
Okay. And then you got Cody Bellinger. Look at his stats compared to Mr. Soto, the carpetbagger.
So we can't see, John, this is what we can't do yet. I gotta stop you there. But what I'll say about Cody, he's gonna hit. I love how he'll take a sac fly. He's leading the team in sac flies. And man, he's such a baller. Like, there was that ball hit over his head in center. He looked up, took his route straight back, tracked it, caught it on the warning track. I'm like, I was worried. I'm like, this guy is a pure baseball player. He can play multiple positions. He's gonna hit. I'm excited to see what type of year he puts together.
And then when it comes down to conspiracy with the bats, it sounds like Donald Trump's situation with Eli Musk and all. And what the big balls? What the thing now we got?
I have no idea. Thanks for the call, John. I'm not the guy to ask about Elon Musk. I know Elon Musk from Twitter, X. Didn't he just sell Twitter to his own company and then Twitter crashed the other day? I don't know what they're doing with that. I wish they would go back. Twitter sucks now. It's been trash. I used to love Twitter. I thought Twitter was the best platform for sports fans and media members because it was, you guys know. So I'm not the guy to ask or make a comparison to a conspiracy theory with Trump and Elon. I have no idea about that. But there's no conspiracy here with the Yankees. They're not doing anything they're not conspiring. They're not doing anything wrong. I'm just like, yo, can we move past this? I haven't even said the T word yet. Mike is in Flatbush on the Fan. Go for it, Mike.
What's up, man? I love the show, man.
Thank you.
And love how he is not speaking to Yankees fans who are
no, they're bro. Come on, Mike. Come on. I'm in the Bleacher Creatures chat. I got friends from high school I talk Yankees with. I talked to like so many different people. No one said, well, where was this in the World Series? 0 people, because you can't compare the first 3 games of the regular season to the World Series. It has nothing to do with each other. They're not alike at all. They're actually the polar opposites.
It's not my main point that I want to get to, but like the torpedo bat, by now everybody should have looked into the story. It is an interesting story. The science is it. To hear baseball people like Paul O'Neill when Kay was first talking about it, he's like, well, wait a minute, why would you? It's like they're critical of you just not able to get the bat in. You're not able to get the swing around it properly, square up on the ball, and then you got but if you're just not a baseball person like Tiki Barber, it's like, well, you look for any edge. So it's interesting.
Why are you throwing Tiki Barber on the bus? Shout out to Tiki, bro. Yo, you know what Tiki said today that had me cracking up? The guy was talking about the bunting device that was shaped like a torpedo bat. And Tiki asked him if they ever used it in a game. It's like, no, it's for practice. You can't use it in a game, Tiki. Like, Tiki just did not grow up around baseball or playing baseball or anything like that. But he's working on it. I could tell he's playing fantasy baseball. He's in the group chat. He's getting up to speed as much as he can. And baseball is the hardest sport to learn. There's just so many different things about it. But yeah, don't throw Tiki under the bus. He's a legend.
No, never. He is a legend in two things. Like, because I mean, obviously Hall of Fame. You know, he's I think going to be a Hall of Fame Giant, and he's a tremendous broadcaster. Like that is, I don't know any other. But listen, is Judge the best value in sports? I mean, who else is that kind of a discount? Like you said, $40 million, and he's our bond. I feel like now it's weird. Every time he gets up, you expect him to hit a home run.
Yeah, and I don't know why they're still pitching to him. They finally stopped. Thanks for the call, Mike. 888-808-1019. Now I can go into my Aaron Judge stuff, bro. Like, you know, how I think it was I forget who it was, but it doesn't matter. You know, with Judge, so many people want to Ray Martell. Here we go. Shout out to Ray Martell, who produces the Mets radio broadcast, who saw me in here on opening day. I came in opening day. I dropped my stuff off in here like 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock before I got off on the train. And yo, you know you're my guy, Ray, but I'm using you as an example to like set up my Aaron Judge stuff before we end up going to break here. 888-808-1019. You know, so Ray says to me, yeah, like he hadn't seen me or something. He's like, yeah, on New Year's Eve, he's like, yeah, well, I was doing something on New Year's Eve. I went to see the ball drop. Aaron Judge dropped the ball. I don't even know how to say the joke because like I don't think the joke is funny. I've seen it online. I saw the AI thing of Judge sitting in a chair in Times Square. Like, I can't tell you how many people still write to me fifth inning. I can't tell you how many people use the GIF of Aaron Judge dropping the ball. So follow me, right? Like that's been the narrative around Aaron Judge. Even though that was his first error, he was MVP in center field. Right before that, made a catch going to his right off the wall, robbing Freddie Freeman. The other narrative is, Judge sucks in the playoffs. He batted 184 and he struck out 20 plus times, and it doesn't matter unless he does it in the playoffs. I will give you that. Yankee haters or Mets fans, there are some Yankee fans saying, yeah, this is good, with Judge, but he's got to do it in October. And I'm just like, I'm not in that camp, because as I was at those games watching, I was not thinking about October at all. I was thinking about how this guy is in his prime, and we don't know when he's going to be out of his prime. And even when he's out of his prime, he's still going to be one of the better players in the game. He's an all-time great. We're blessed to be in his era. This guy showed up clean shaven with a shirt and tie on, with a suit on, and other guys showed up and followed suits, followed suit with their suits, puns intended, on opening day. He is the full-on captain and leader of the team. He's got dad strength now, right? He's crossed that off. He's got a daughter he goes home to. And, shout out to Jonathan in Los Angeles and his son Bash, who called my show. They got interviewed by MLB before the game. And then during the game, Judge came and gave a ball to his son. And Judge is such a good dude and a good baseball player. And is $40 million a year a steal for him? Yeah, I just said that's what they're paying Alex Bregman. And, it's not about what Juan Soto got. But when you think about what the Yankees were willing to give Juan Soto, $760 million, and man, they gave Judge a hard time about like 200. I think the offer was like 230 or something on opening day back in 2022. Man, I don't care about what Judge did or didn't do this past spring. Right. I was down there that week, and then he homered. I came home Friday. He homered the next day, and I wanted to go to that game, but I just, I got a son. I'll tell you more about not bringing my son to any more games. Spring training is a waste of time. Not bringing him, but I dipped. I don't care about his slow spring. He's got a hot March. March is over. It's April 1st now. And there's a lot of talk about, will he have a slow April? Oh, if Judge has a slow April, what's this team going to do? I don't think he's going to have a slow April if they keep pitching to him. 888-808-1019. It took Murphy a while to be like, all right, let's just walk him. Like, grand slam, multiple home runs. Like, they got to a point Sunday where they're like, we can't let this guy kill us. Okay, well, Jazz took that personally. Jazz is waiting there to do the damage with his one-piece gear and his his legal bat. But yeah, back to Judge. All of the memes, all of the mocking, even before all of that materialized online, Judge said that this is something that's going to stick with him for life. And I've talked about him having a daughter and how that changes your life. So now we're looking at Judge, who's multiple years in as a captain, another MVP. We're looking at Judge, who's a father now. We're looking at Judge, who was vocal about, I don't, if you don't want to shave your beard, you don't need to be here. He's leading the way. He's the best player in the game. Ohtani is not pitching. So until Ohtani comes back and he's that dual threat, he's that two-way player. Judge is the best player in the game. He's doing it in New York, the hardest place to do it. I'm telling you, when he hits home runs in that stadium, he hits them. He doesn't need a you-know-what bat. And the place is chanting MVP. MVP's coming out for the curtain call. It's just like, bro, like his music when he comes out, I'm the king of New York, mellow. Like, it's a good time to be a Yankee fan in this Judge era. And anybody that would not want to play with Aaron Judge, anyone that would not want to hit in front of Aaron Judge, like that's got nothing to do with me. I like this team. I like this lineup. I like this start early on. I know it doesn't win anything or mean anything further than that. But Aaron Judge answering the bell, Aaron Judge, I think carrying himself with that embarrassment. There's this quote. I remember I used to talk to this girl. Her bio said, "Embarrass yourself. It builds character." And I didn't understand it. Embarrass yourself enough times and come back from it. That is an all-time embarrassment. And he's come back from it. And I think it's just made him better. I think the life experience of having his first daughter is making him better. I think the experience of, seeing a guy come into his team, come into his clubhouse, him bumping over to play center field for the guy to play right field in front of the judges' chambers, that same guy get offered almost twice as much as him and say, "No, I'm good. Don't need it. Don't want it. I'll stay in town, but I'd rather go to the other side." Where you heard Judge say, right? Juan Soto said, it's always been a Mets town. And Judge said, "I don't agree." Juan Soto said he thinks he's got a better chance of winning. I don't agree. And we will see about that. So far, so good, but it's only 3 games. Stanton isn't playing, but Stanton has a great quote from some years ago. He said, "You guys make a big deal over 9-10 at-bats." That's all we've seen from the Yankees, 9-10 at-bats. Keith McPherson on the Fan, 888-808-1019. So much more to do, so much more to talk about. When we come back, I'll talk about bringing my son to the game. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I won't make the mistake again because, you never know when the Yankees are going to break the home run record. You never know when the Yankees are going to start the game hitting the first 3 pitches out of the ballpark. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. What, man? All right, yo. I'm struggling. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, it's allergies kicking my ass. Yo, what up, Mark? Yeah, great. Shout out to Marky. Shout out to Nico Heischer and the Devils. I will find a way to get them in at some point. It's just not going to move the needle. A good win, beating the Minnesota Wild again. I didn't watch the game. I was, I'm locked in on the Mets game tonight, but the Devils, they beat them 4-2 the other night, Saturday night in Minnesota. Then they come back and beat them in a shootout tonight, 3-2. And I believe in Nico Heischer. He will lead us. So yeah, I will figure out a way to give a nod to the Devils when it makes sense. Tremendous win for the Devils. You hitting the Jazz jersey night in April? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm like, yo, what am I'm not sick, so I'm not calling out. But what am I supposed to? I'm just like, my nose, you can't see it, but my nose is running while I'm talking, and then I'm dipping off to blow my nose. I'm congested. It's not a great feeling. Tired. Sunday I go to sleep, but then Monday everybody's up in the morning when my son is up, and I've been up since 7:00. Had a tornado warning tonight in Monmouth County, yeah, with the wind and the rain and stuff. Who started the illegal bat thing? Stanton, I guess. This is stupid. I noticed I was like, I didn't even say the T word. I'm just so tired of hearing it. It's just dumb. Like, the conversation ends with the bats are legal. The end. Let me text. I gotta send Rami a rejoin. And I gotta text my boy Gabe. Gabe, if you working that judge segment. That judge segment has some bars in it. Let's go to Rami. All right, just sent that. Hold on. What'd you say? Yeah. All right, here we go. Coming back. Oh yeah. Yankee baby. Shout out Two Phones, 100G Beats, that new Yankee Baby, that new Yankee Baby track that the Yankees put out on opening day. That's been ringing off. It's an earworm. I found myself singing that. I'm a Yankee. I'm a Yankee baby. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Talking about the Yankees, talking about Aaron Judge. I'm going to talk about Jazz for a minute here, and then we're going to get back to your calls at 888-808-1019. I think before I was talking about how Jazz last year kept saying, oh, we're going to win the World Series. And I felt like, yo, you got to chill. You're a newcomer. Like, you haven't put in the pain with us. You've been a Marlin, bro. And it's funny. I know you guys saw some of that stuff from when he was a Marlin, where he was getting kind of bullied and hazed, right? With Miguel Rojas. It's funny, right? Miguel Rojas didn't play last year, but if we get another rematch, Dodgers, Yankees, World Series, that might be setting up for some drama. But yeah, with Jazz, bro, like if Jazz is going to be the version of Jazz that we've seen these last couple of days, which I know it's overreaction, I get it. Don't jump to it. But if Jazz, what I'm saying is, if they're gonna walk Judge, and Jazz is gonna take that personally and hit home runs or even hit doubles and not strike out, be locked in to be that kind of, come on, man. If Jazz is going to be a guy that's going to hit over 30 homers, and he's got sauce dripping, he's a swag champ. I talked about that one-piece gear that he wears, that from that cartoon. He's got it head to toe. He's got the chain. Like when he homers, when Jazz homers, he is holding the bat up like the Statue of Liberty. Then he's got the bat flip, toss, drop. He's coming down first base. He's doing a little push shot. He's pointing at the bleacher creatures. Then he's doing the PTSO, the put that on. Like, he's dancing. He's coming around. He gives the like 2 fingers to the third base coach. Does another shot, like a jump shot. Then he hits the Euro step across home plate. Like if Judge is gonna do or not, if Jazz is gonna be ready when Judge gets walked, and then Jazz is gonna hit 30 homers and do that, like it just adds a level of fun and excitement. And I'm glad. I'm glad he was swinging for the fences and he did it and he got to show off. This is his first full season as a Yankee. There were a couple of issues at second base, but I like he that's his true position. He's better off there than third, and he's gonna hit in this lineup, and he's gonna be a star. He's starring right now. He's looking like it, and it ain't because of the T word. It ain't because of these T bats. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Joe out in Las Vegas. What's up, my guy? Good. I got these allergies. I'm trying not to blow my nose every break, and I'm talking through my nasal congestion, but whatever. Happy to be here. Yeah, I was like, do I take? I got to do the night show, and I've been up since 7 a.m. You can't play with some of that stuff, Sudafed or even a Zyrtec. It's like I can't. I got to have energy until 2 a.m.
Third base is still a question mark. But we're playing the younger players, which you have to do that in baseball. Bellinger and Judge, I mean, that's kind of a wash with Soto and Judge, honestly. And Wells is going to play all season. And all the trades he made, he stole the people. He stole Jazz, Bellinger, Williams.
Yeah, bro. Like when you see what Nestor looked like, and you think that yo, Nestor is a friend of mine. Like I consider him a friend. If I ran into him, it wouldn't be our first time running into each other. It'd be all love. But like we gave up Caleb Durbin and Nestor Cortez for the guy that's regarded as the top reliever in the game.
Yeah, he fleeted everybody. Cashman is like he's honestly like a ninja, and people don't see it.
Yeah, respect to him.
About players, and I don't even know next offseason if we need to do much. And I know that it's so crazy.
Kyle Tucker.
We need to. Yeah, well, I know I agree with one player like Tucker, but also we have to pay Jazz. We have to extend Jazz. We have to extend Williams. I mean, I know Stroman. He's going to probably get the innings. So
I wouldn't guarantee that. 140 innings is it's a stretch. Thanks for the call, Joe. 888-808-1019. I mean, that's a rare call. You rarely hear a Yankee fan calling to give props to Brian Cashman, especially just 3 games in, especially coming off of losing the World Series, especially coming off of not re-signing a generational talent, one of the, but like it's needed. The Yankees put out a tweet that I was like, well, when you put it like that, it was like, congrats to Brian Cashman for his 2,500th win, 2,500 wins as GM of the New York Yankees. And I'm like, well, when you put it like that, like, that's goated. That's Hall of Fame. That's all time. That's actually crazy to think like you've been around and he watched all those games. And he was working during those games and making moves. Yep. Career regular season wins. That's not even adding the postseason in. The Yankees are always in the postseason. So shout out to Cashman, man. I don't know how many times I told y'all Cashman was waiting to pivot. Did they want to? No. Did they try to appease the fans? And of course. But they knew, hey, in the event that this money doesn't get taken by this player, we got to tighten the screws on this thing. We got a lot of holes to plug. We got to make this team better. This is Judge's prime. Like, okay, Garrett Cole is not here. Stanton will return at some point. The Yankees always figure out pitching. They always have the pitching in the postseason. It's the hitting that they don't have. Let's not overreact. Let's not jump to conclusions. I mean, myself, I was saying, we need another bat. We need another bat. We need another bat. Cashman was like, chill, bro. We got the bats. Just wait. You'll see them. They're shaped a little different. There's more wood in the barrel where guys like we say we need another bat. We need another bat. It's funny too, because with the bats, the company that makes the bats, and now I'm like, baseball is loving it. Manfred is loving it. The baseball bat manufacturer was Marucci. Let me see. Marucci Sports. I saw Rami actually. I have your tweet clipped if you want to chime in. It's in my notes. He laughed. He said Marucci using Lindor to advertise their new torpedo bats after the Mets fans cried all weekend that the Yankees were cheating is prime trolling. So they have the picture of Lindor with the bat, and it says torpedo bats available now. Major League Baseball also used a picture of Lindor.
The Lindor model torpedo bats that Marucci is selling now.
Yes. So it's funny, right? They use Lindor, who wasn't playing today, but he's on the other side of New York. And I think that the echo chamber was loudest here in New York because Mets fans were watching the Yankees hit all these home runs, and they're like, they're cheating. What is this? Never seen this before. And then everybody else hopped on. Everybody else piled on. But you know what? Back to the Mets. I'm glad that the Mets won last night. I'm glad that the Mets hit their own home runs last night. I'm glad that guys that needed to get their first hits of the season, Brett Beatty, welcome to the party. Like, I'm glad Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, I'm glad that they did against the Marlins because, like, you couldn't have gone another day. Shout out to Milton, the cowbell man. I don't know if Milton is listening, but he's an OG. He's Bleacher Creatures section 39, old stadium to the new stadium. And, he's like, I hope he's listening so he could call and say it in his voice and his words. But the way that he says it, he's like, there's so many Mets fans that are like the Red Sox fans used to be until they started winning, right? He's like, when they had the curse of the great Bambino, it was like, they were so like agitated, and it was almost like he equated it to like virgins, right? Once they got the girl, then things changed. From once they finally got some, they stopped acting like virgins. Not to go there with it, but that was the analogy. It's like Milton said, he's like, I want the Mets to win one, just so some of these Mets fans can like go through the experience, feel what it's like to win the World Series, have their parade, and then stop worrying about us so much. Get off of us. Like, I want them to get that experience. That's what happened with the Red Sox. It's like once the Red Sox started winning, they weren't so worried about the rivalry, right? People say, oh, the rivalry doesn't have any juice. Yeah, it had more juice when it was like the Yankees won all these championships, and this rival team was fighting history. And then once they finally broke through, it was like, not so much pent-up aggression, not so agitated now. Josh is in Passaic on the Fan. Welcome back, Josh.
Yo, Keith, what's doing, my guy?
Talking the talk, you know, quick one tonight.
Yeah, you know, some storms tonight. The thunder sounds like, you know, in the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, the Braves, you know, 0-5, and the Mets last year. This is nuts. You had the Marlins holding the division. You know, the Mets had a great win against the division leader tonight. Before I get to that, to make a small analogy for people that know golf. You know, the Yankees on Saturday, kind of when you take when you take a shot in golf and you know it and feel this bad off your swing, and then all of a sudden you look down and it kind of blows by the wind and it lands near the green, right near the hole, and you're all pumped about it, and you go to find your ball, and turns out it lands in the bunker right next to the green. That was with the Yankees. You know, they first get all those home runs, and everyone's going, shoot, you know what's going on, it's so annoying. Then you have the torpedo bats, everyone's all pumped, finally that scans are going to hit them up. Then you go look into, you're like, oh shoot, everyone's doing this too.
I don't know if I can follow the analogy to that. I can follow you that it was misleading.
20 years.
That, and I still haven't stepped on a golf course, but like it was, I think there was a little bit of a oop-de-oop, a little misdirection, a little bit of a, you know, in the beginning, the initial thought of, hey, this looks different. Are they doing something illegal? They're cheating. And then it's like, no, this has been around. You guys just weren't up on it. You weren't aware of it. And like the Yankees still had to hit the ball. They like, again, it's not the wand, it's the wizard.
Right, and you know, people were joking around that the Juan Soto had the only Mets home run is because that's Aaron Boone gifted him a bat by his birthday a few weeks ago. But anyway, moving on with the Mets, people were complaining, you know, about the lineup and stuff, and some people were trying to say it's still great and stuff. I told someone that I feel like I just feel Alonso's a little burnt out. You know, he's just not really washed, just, you know, not what he was. And he's like, what do you mean? He always puts up these great stats. I'm like, watch, he does this versus Miami. That's how his numbers are fun at the end of the year. So obviously, I was smiling from that grand slam in two different ways, Keith. The pitching, you know, David Stern knows what to do. I was upset that he lost that on Profar, but you know, it seems sometimes he knows things before the MLB even does. Keith, thanks for taking my call. Have a great night.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Josh. I think on both sides of town, we were taking calls and people were saying, sign Jurickson Profar. I thought he was going back to the Padres. Maybe they knew something. So what I picked up from it, 80-game suspension. He came out and said that he would never do something, blah, 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 blah. But what I read was that it was a masking agent, right? Like something that he took something that would cover up PED use. And he claimed that he's been tested so many times, this, that, and the other. But hey, all the talk about the Yankees cheating. This is a guy, a big free agent that was signed, that played in the postseason last year, that had a big year last year. And, you know, he got knocked for cheating. It immediately made me think, too, about Fernando Tatis. Remember Tatis was talking about, oh, it was a cream for ringworm or something like that? Like, yeah, all right, buddy. And it's crazy. In 2025, guys are still doing things in the game of shadows. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Now, can I do this? Can I, you know, score one for the Yankee nerds? Right? The smart guys in the room, the analytics nerds that we always talk about. Oh, these analytics nerds, these analytic geeks, they wouldn't know a bat from a ball. They can't play any baseball. Why are they? They got one right this time. They're laughing now, right? It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. It took a MIT physicist. Shout out to the boy Lenny blowing up. I was listening to Howie Rose on the call tonight talking about the media scrum that Aaron Leonard had in Miami. You know, he used to be with the Yankees. Now he's with the Marlins. He was an analyst with the Yankees. Now he's a field coordinator with the Marlins. And so before the game tonight, everybody down there wanted to know, tell us about the bats. Still haven't said the word. I think we might have had one T word drop in these. Oh, okay. So I did say it. Well, I was saying it as Rami. I've heard it so much these last couple days. I told myself tonight we're not going to get on and say the T word. But anyway, this guy, and some other guys, that the whole thing is, how do we win on the margins? How do we get better in these little ways? And props to them. They got one. This is the talk of the sports world. This is the talk of baseball. People are talking about baseball. It is a win for baseball. They are completely legal. Conversation over. 888-808-1019. And give some credit to Brian Cashman, who a couple years ago was like, do you know we have the second smallest analytics team in the AL East? And I remember I joked, I'm like, well, maybe you should have the biggest. But I know the caster said that the Yankees have the best and the brightest. They have some really smart people. But again, it ain't the arrows, it's the archer. It's not the wand, it's the wizard.
Funny that he's in Miami now, this guy, Lenny, because I heard Jeff Passan talking this offseason how the Marlins didn't spend any money on free agency because they had to spend so much money on building their analytics department and getting with the top.
Putting the carriage before the horse. They're spending money on them.
They had to spend money on that before they could actually build a team. So it's nice to know that they got this guy who apparently is super innovative. So apparently they are, going out there and trying to improve their analytics department.
Word, they should send Sandy Alcantara to the Yankees. Get rid of him. Just keep stripping the whole thing down. Let's go to Nathaniel down in North Carolina on the fan. What's up, man?
Hey, Keith. Thanks for taking my call. Just going to run through some things, and I'm very happy about the Yankees. Cashman definitely deserves props. I think there's so much that goes on that we don't see, that we don't know about. He stayed away from Profar. Wells worked out with Judge on a swing during the offseason. I didn't know anything about that. I saw a quick short on that on YouTube. The bats, like you said it, the conversation's over. This team's exciting to watch. I'm not ready to crown them World Series.
They're fast.
The game, and I want to give props to Stroman for Sunday. It was cold as you know what.
Yep.
And his pitches were middle. The fielding did a great job. I'm not mad at Boone taking him out when he did. I thought Stroman did a fantastic job considering the weather conditions
and the stakes. It's the it's the deciding game. I was saying sweep them, so I know it's real. The Yankees don't always complete the sweep, and then think about the stakes for him. He is from Nueva York. This is a guy that thought he was gone, that people were calling for him to be traded, and hey, here I am, game 3, and he did enough. And if Dominguez was a better fielder, probably charges that ball, makes the play. Maybe it's a shoestring grab, and like you said, yeah, he's got to locate better. But you know what? Him and Fried, they're pitching to contact. The defense has to be locked in, and defensively, we're going to be better. I'm not talking about Pablo Reyes. I'm not talking about either Jazz or Volpe and a couple mistakes here. Overall, they're going to be better defensively. It just takes a little time.
Absolutely, and I know that we've definitely got some new faces on this team, but the guys that were there last year, and we got so close. I talk like I'm on the team. They got so close, and it hurt so much. I'm telling you, these guys are out for blood. And anybody who thinks, we'll go talk West Coast real quick, the Dodgers, they're coming back to earth. They're coming back to earth. Anybody who's talking about them winning 115 games or stupidly talking about going undefeated, they're coming back to earth. This Yankee team is special. They're special. If we get Stanton back early, we get our pitching back. I mean, just sitting here thinking about the potential after just a few games, it's amazing what this team is capable of this year.
And I think we're going to see some really special, amazing things, and I can't wait to watch it.
Thanks for the call, Nate. Now, I'll caution you to say they can be special. They have the potential to be, because that's an overreaction to say that they are special after 3 games against the Milwaukee Brew Crew in their building. 888-808-1019. 1019. Props to Cashman. He does handle a lot of different things that we don't see. He is like the Yankees GM for real. And man, I love what you said about the pain that these players went through last year. Because I talked about one guy who didn't feel any pain. He was one step closer to the money, turned his hat to the back and said, I'm available to all 30 teams, while the rest of those guys were weeping. The rest of those guys were crying in the clubhouse like Roki Sasaki. 888-808-1019. I had a call that was going to correct me, and I don't know why I didn't think of it. We had a caller that said 3 MVPs in a lineup. When does that happen? I'm like, yeah, they all won recently. Well, the Dodgers, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani. Freddie Freeman is hurt. All right, we got a break. When we come back, we'll do MLB news, and I'll hit you with my big shot of the night. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Okay, so chat, help me out. Next segment, we're going to do Casamigos' big shot of the night. I'm going to give it to Pete Alonso, and then we'll get into some MLB news. I already talked about Jurickson Profar. We will hit that again. I just teased the Freddie Freeman injury. We will go over that. Ellie De La Cruz, 4 for 5, 2 homers tonight, balling. I thought I saw a picture of him with a specialized bat. What else? Garrett Crochet, he got paid. I just dropped Roki Suzuki's name. That's another thing. Max Scherzer injury. So in the chat, let me know what I missed in any baseball news. We'll hit baseball news around the league after the big shot of the night.
There's 0 lines, 0 reasons at all.
No.
I know we stood up a little bit second half school. That's long. And once we go back, he's part-time. He's my student. He's very nice. He's the one that's
big brother thing, because you know what? We don't care about it. You shouldn't care about it. You should worry about your division. You should be worried about championship. Just because you get Soto and this and that doesn't mean that you won anything. And they're just gonna always hate it, always gonna do this. And this Yankee fans, this is young. There's some of you dumb Yankee fans that want to troll. Everybody, if the super troll is on red alert, and it's because the people on the living, this host out there, we know who, that want to troll for 6 months that they're getting Soto. Bringing it up. They want to just keep, picking at us, and they expect, and now they're begging us to stop. Because every time something happens now, because they better win a championship, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear this thing about all this and that. No, you got your owner that spends all the money. You sold the greatest, player of all time from the Yankees, and you guys are the big brother. So now you guys have to win the World Series, or else it's a failure. Okay, so if you want to be the big brother, that comes with, putting
We'll talk about it.
coming to the big room, coming to the table, and having that responsibility and expectations that they're gonna have to get used to. So people are going to lash back at people who trolled for 6 months. I'm sorry. We're not going to stay quiet. And it's nothing about get over it. You lost. Get over it. It's not. We are over it. But we're not going to get over your fat mouth trolling for 6 months and think that we're going to stay quiet. So that's where that's at.
Great points, Mo. And I'll jump in and give you a second to breathe. They had it coming. What did you think when the games didn't matter and you were talking all tough about winning the offseason, celebrating like you won the World Series off of signing a player? When you lose and you get one hit, when you can't beat the Astros, you lose your first series, people are dancing on your grave as if it's the last series of the regular season.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. These are the first 3 games. We know we're not dumb Yankee fans. We know it's the first 6, 7 games. We know the Mets. To me, the Mets are like a 90% chance they're going to make the playoffs. Soto is going to be a great player for you. But when you do this, there are going to be people who are going to just get back at you for,
But like what you also said, and this is what I said too, you said they're at the big boy table. I said you're swimming in the big kids pool. This comes with the territory, being mocked. As Yankee fans, we're used to everybody pulling up to drink our tears. We're used to every time we lose, everybody wants to come in, helicopter in and say, ha ha. It's like the Met fan is like, hey, like leave us alone. It's the first 3 games. So what? We lost the series. We always lose. Well, you're not allowed to lose like that now. Like you got to accept that you're in the big boy pool at the big boy table. You're supposed to win.
Yeah, the Yankees lost the World Series. The next day I walked to work with my Yankee hat on, Yankee jacket. How could you wear that? What do you mean, how can I wear it?
It's mine.
We made the World Series. Okay, we lost to the Dodgers. You know what? The only game that pissed me off was the first game, not bringing in Hill. That's when the game was 6.
Bro, every time we see Tim Hill pitch, that's the one thing I'll say about this season. Because Tim Hill has been good so far this early part of the season. It makes you think about, why didn't we go to him on game 1?
That was it. The series is over right there. Now, as far as these bats are concerned, hello, people. Hello, world. Hello, Twitter, X. Hello, everybody. These bats have been around forever. This is not new. The Cubs had it last year. Bellinger had it last year. Lindor used it in the first series. There was a guy in 1954 that had a bat like that. These are not new bats. What is going on here? I mean,
social media.
You know why they're mad? Because they want the Yankee fans to be upset. First of all, we are upset. People have to understand we wanted Soto to come back. But the bottom line is, the fact is that he leaves and made this team more balanced, more speed, better defense. And God forbid we get a third baseman. If we get Arenado, it's a wrap. So this team is continuing to be the big bad Yankees even without Soto. People are pissed and mad. The fans are mad because we're still out there rocking.
That's what it is. They thought the king was dead.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we left you for dead.
Come on, man. If any franchise in sports could lose somebody like Soto and still come out there cocky, that's us. 95% of the other teams lose a guy like that, they're in shambles and they're not going to play us for the next 5 years. But you know what? That's going to turn around and it's going to make us bigger, better, and stronger. And I'm not saying that we're winning the World Series. I'm not claiming this beginning is going to be like this all the time. I'm not dumb. I'm just saying, people, we are here. We're here to stay. We're ready to represent. And I don't care what anybody says. This is a playoff team, and I am excited to see what's going to. I love Bellinger. Bellinger's my guy, bro. I told you that.
He's a baller, bro. So I've been paying close attention to him. He balls out.
He's just a perfect swing for Yankee Stadium. I'm telling you, this guy, we just got to figure out third base, man. I really would love to get Arenado. And just before I go, man, let's go Jets. Justin Fields, baby. Let's
Thanks for the call, Milton. 888-808-1019 as I'm in here looking at Woody Johnson. And Woody Johnson got an F grade when they did all the reviews with the players, and Woody's looking like, that doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about the Jets. I'll try and get a little bit of Jets and Giants in from these guys speaking. To me, it's like I don't care what you say at this point. Baseball has started. We have real baseball games to talk about. We don't need to talk about what you might do in the draft or how you're moving in silence and whatever. It just doesn't move the needle. Rami?
Oh, yeah. I mean, about the Jets, that for sure. I fully agree with you. You were talking about Devers earlier, and he also mentioned a point about, I love what he said when he called it the big boy table for the Mets. It's like when you're 12 years old and you're telling your parents, I want to sit at the adult table. I want to sit at the adult table. And the first time you sit at the adult table, you spill a drink on ground.
Yup.
Like, back to the kids' table.
But that's great. The same thing with the big boy pool. It's deep over here. Can you swim in these waters? You sure you ready? Jump off that diving board?
Just sent you, though, was the Rafael Devers thing. He is so late on these pitches, and he just said it on the line. Like, it looks like he's selling on purpose. Like, is he pulling a James Harden with a fat suit in Houston? Like, is he trying to get out of there because he's mad at how Alex Cora handled the Bregman situation? Because Rafael Devers, that good a hitter, doesn't swing at a slider right down the middle at 91 miles an hour when
Well, Chaim Bloom told him he's their third baseman for the rest of his career.
still, a hitter that good is that late on these pitches. And it's not just late, he's throwing his arms at it. It looks like a kid who's never swung a bat before on some of these swings. And it doesn't make sense to me that a hitter at the caliber of Rafael Devers is doing that unless it's on purpose. I watched that at bat against DeGrom, so you could go back and watch it. The first at bat, top of the first inning from, I guess it was Sunday's game against the Rangers. The first pitch is a fastball up and away at 90.
It's also DeGrom, but
DeGrom, but the first pitch is a fastball up and away at 97. If you see 97 up and away, and then the next pitch you see is a slider at 91 that didn't have a lot of bite right down the middle, it's kind of a cement mixer, there's no way you should be swinging that late at it.
unless you're trying to tank, unless you're trying to get traded, unless you're pouting and you're going out there and you're not as locked in as you usually are because you're like, this is not my team anymore. They made me a DH. I don't want to just be a DH. How old is Devers? Devers is not even 30. Yeah. So this would have been the year for them to have the Netflix special. This would have been the year. Like I think I was talking to Evan because I was listening to Evan and Tiki talk about the Apple TV Yankees Dodgers doc. And he's like, "You gonna watch that?" I'm like, "I'm gonna try." And then I thought about it. I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not watching that." And I was talking to Evan. I was like, "You know what? That like they had the 2004 Red Sox comeback doc. I watched that for 2 minutes and I couldn't continue. And then even with this, nope, I'm not interested in that.
Is doing like a TV tour to promote it on all these different platforms. He went on Cowherd, he went on all these on Dan Patrick. If it was doing well, he wouldn't have to do a TV tour to promote it.
They're not the Lakers, bro. Like they're not. I understand the brand of the Celtics and how much winning they've done. They're not far off from the Lakers, but like they're not the Lakers as far as that mass appeal. They're not the Lakers as far as like they could put out a fake Lakers show like they did and everybody's watching it. You could put out this Celtic City. I'm not tapping on that. I don't want to watch that. 888-808-1019. I do want to watch the Make It Happen Mets face Sandy Alcantara with Ghost Fork and Miracle Ball. Isn't that the name of his new pitch? Kodai Senga on the mound. Let's go down to Louisiana and talk to Jeff on the fan. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Keith. Welcome back.
Thanks.
I see different reasons for optimism about a number of the New York teams, but I guess it was the main reason I called in was I've been watching good-sized chunks of each of the four first Mets games and wanted to comment about it's encouraging to see the young defensive players on the Mets in the infield doing well. Vientos, to me, looks like he's settling in as a defensive third baseman. Nice catch, for example, up against the stands to, reaching into the stands to catch a foul ball.
Acuna today, Vientos had one go off his glove at short. Acuna backed him up. Still had enough arm strength to throw the guy out at first. Beatty looks like he's playing a solid second base. Timmons, that's a catcher, but he had he threw a guy out at second base after a strikeout through the first base.
Yep.
Through the runner out of second base, strikeout, double play. So I'm encouraged by that.
Don't leave out Soto's defense. Did you see Soto's defense today?
No, I missed that. I missed the first 4 innings today.
He had a good play running to his left that he ran down a ball that I was like, oh, that ball is gonna get by him. He had another ball that got under his glove that I saw a couple Yankee fans clip and mock, but like he had backup behind him, and like it wasn't an issue. I saw him make a play going to his right and left where I was like, yo, Soto's on it. So shout out to him. Shout out to the young guys that are getting the opportunity to play. As they struggled in Houston to hit, I did have a narrative in my head about, hey, who would have probably got a hit when you needed it? Jose Iglesias, who could have been playing, but like their whole thing is we don't want to pay an older guy and try and capture lightning in a bottle. We want our young guys to develop. We want to see what they have. And it's obvious that Luis Angel Acuna, he's got to play. He just looks the part. I remember seeing him last year. I'm like, oh, this is a dude. And obviously we know his blood. Like his brother is an MVP. But like his speed, his energy, he's got to play. He makes plays offensively and defensively. You mentioned Terrence filling in for Alvarez. Him homering today. He almost hit one out in Houston. There were some people last year saying that they wanted more Terrence and not so much of Alvy because he was inconsistent. So the Mets defense is there behind the pitching, and not for nothing. How many guys did 9 strikeouts? David Peterson had 9 strikeouts. So tonight was a night against the Marlins where like that's what you're supposed to do. You want to talk little bro, big bro? Like the Mets are supposed to big bro the Marlins tonight, and they did.
Yeah, so it was encouraging. It was encouraging to see.
I saw so many Mets fans sitting behind home plate, and then I realized I was like, yeah, those tickets were only $150. Those tickets to sit behind home plate at Marlins Park, they go for less than $200.
Yes. Of course, I'm an old timer, so I saw the last game in the Poland. It was at the Mets played. I actually got to go on the field.
Love that. Amazing.
The last games were a lot cheaper. And I also wanted to give I also wanted to give a shout out to Thibodeau. I've seen some players, not all the players, but some of their players get better under his guardianship. Like for instance, OG Anunoby, for instance, he's become a more complete player in the absence of Brunson. I mean, he's become a strong finisher at driving to the basket.
Yeah.
For just as one example, I don't know if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, that's what they pay him to be. I actually was on I don't know if it's the Fan, but 95.7 in Rochester today, and I was talking about how like, if the Knicks get bounced in the second round, I don't think they're going to lose in the first round, but let's say they get bounced in the second round, I really hope that these players hold it down for Tibbs because he is a huge part of why they've been successful this last 4-5 years. And like heads have to roll. If you have another second round exit, they're going to want somebody to get fired. They're going to want things to change. But like you just said, I just think he gets the most out of these guys. And what you're seeing without Brunson is guys having to step up and the team evolve. And what you hope is that when Brunson comes back, they don't completely revert back to like, all right, it's your show, JB. And you also hope that JB doesn't come in and just like, all right, it's my show. And I feel like he can't do that because I think his ankle is going to still be compromised. He's not going to be 100%. Like those ankles, like how many times we get calls to WFA and yeah, I had tennis elbow like John Carlos Stanton. Like you're not, but like I sprained my ankle in like week 4 of a football season. I felt it throughout the rest of the season. Like it's a different sport, but what I'm saying is JB is going to feel that ankle. He's going to need OG to score. He's going to need Mikal to score. He's going to need Karl Anthony Towns to score. He's going to need Josh Hart to shoot his shot. So, yeah, we'll see. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You can't predict baseball. You also have no idea what's going to happen in the NBA playoffs. Somebody gets hurt. Things don't go a certain way. Guys could get suspended. Who knows? It's a series. It's not a one-game elimination. So let's see what they got.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And I agree with you. And I don't want to keep you on too long. I know you got other callers, but thank you.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. You can't keep me on too long. I can keep you on too long, but I'm allowed to do that. It's about to be 1:30 in the morning. 888-808-1019. And I see some people holding and waiting, but I said we were going to get into some MLB news. So that's a good way to take us up to the break in the next 2 minutes. 888-808-1019. If there's something that happened in Major League Baseball that I did not mention, bring it to the table. We were talking about Rafael Devers. Shout out to MB, yes, sir, in my chat, who said Devers 0 for 9 to start the year after the whole Bregman edition situation in spring training. He's 0 for 16, had to double check, he says. And then Rami talked about it, and Milton talked about it, and I talked about it. Before the last break, I dropped the name Roki Sasaki. Roki Sasaki did not get out of the second inning the other day. He was just struggling. And most people didn't see the outing. I didn't see the outing, but I went and checked the box score. And I saw, the video of him, and he looks teary-eyed. And I know he's 23 years old, but the amount of people, like, we are living in the softest of times. When we come back to, I'm going to tell you a story about my son. I'm raising a young man, and like, I'm having back and forth with my wife about like being too hard on him. And I'm like, I'm not being too hard on him. I'll love on him. I'm not physically hitting the kid. I'm not, but like, I'm stern with him because I'm teaching him how to be a man. I'm teaching him right from wrong. And like, Roki Sasaki, just be a man, bro. Just be a man. I know it's tough. You're in a new country. You're adapting to being a star, but you gave everybody the runaround. You gave everybody the runaround. The Padres, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Phillies. There were a couple teams that were interested in you just to go join Shohei and the champs. This is what you wanted, right? I remember playing the cut from Joel Wolf on the Fan during the winter meetings where they said his personality, the type of guy he is, wouldn't work in a major market. I guess they knew he was butter soft. He wouldn't have worked here in New York. The Mets wanted him too. The Yankees wanted him too. He would have wept on the mound. He would have, if he was in Devin Williams' position, getting booed, he wouldn't have survived it. And so, I'm getting some flack for some of my comments online, but I'm like, yo, y'all are soft. Y'all find any way to glaze the Dodgers. This is a multi-million-dollar athlete in his like second start. And he's crying because he can't get out of the second inning. This is sports. There's no crying in baseball. Be better. Do your job. The check is still going to cash. You're still going to get paid for that bum outing that you put out there. And then I saw like Jonathan Lucroy and Eric Hosmer and like former players say like, yeah, hopefully someone pulled him to the side. So I'm like, nobody wants to see that, bro. We don't want to see you crying. Baseball is a game of failure. We don't want to see the starting pitcher get pulled in the second inning and be crying. The bullpen should be crying. Like, yo, these guys get paid so much money. I have no sympathy for you crying. You're weeping because you're struggling. People are struggling out here in real life. 888-808-1019. When we come back, we'll do the rest of the baseball news. I did sprinkle in an injury to Freddie Freeman. There's also been tonight. Okay, so yeah, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll give you more information on that. Call up 888-808-1019. KM to 2 a.m. returns right after this. Yo, I gotta blow my nose, and I just try not to do it on camera. Whew. I'm trying to hear this freestyle.
Let's go get it. Yeah, come on, take off on them. On these niggas, they got a migraine. Fuck with brains, I gon' call it back. I'm playing my game. Man, we playing the funeral. Thinking about taking my chain. Nigga won't need no ambulance. Fucking around with my aim. Leave the nigga DOA. Nigga want me to squabble up. Won't even let him throw a punch. Can punch me and shot him up. Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali stepping. Yeah, when I hop on the beat, you better go get the house for me in the Tesla truck with the top of the seat. Nigga, I came out LA on business. I had a couple meetings everywhere. I had a pistol. No matter fun or stuff, so I don't care and I don't listen. I fuck her good and pull out on her hair, but I don't kiss her. Turn on the music. It made me dance. Yeah, Black 40 Ruger. In my pants. Oh, man. Yeah, look, nigga play with baby shot the cardio. New York for a couple of days. I flew into LaGuardia. The bitch don't play no basketball. Her dude is fucking guarding her. I think he's scared. She's out of there. Frame look just like the glasses Harry Potter wear. Cuban link look just like the pilot in the darker wear. You can see I'm only top 5 and they don't gotta care. Stupidly living in they.
He snapped. He snapped. I'm gonna have to try and get that beat. I'm due for a freestyle, y'all. I'm due for a freestyle, y'all. Word. Yeah, the baby went crazy on when he slid on. I gotta get the other ones, Gabe. I'm so overdue. I like at times, bro. Like when I first got on the fan, I was rapping like every couple months because I didn't have a kid. I didn't have like as much clout, so I wasn't like doing interviews and having calls and going on meetings. I just was like, I had time, bro. I had time to come in here and get bars off. People will tell you I've kicked like 4 or 5 freestyles on the fan, and I don't want to do them off the top like actual freestyles. I want to pen some stuff. So maybe I think I gotta put it Friday. I gotta do it Friday. I'm on Friday, freestyle Friday. I gotta pen some stuff, and that just inspired me. Maybe I'll get that squabble up beat. That was tough. That was tough. Just to flex on him, just to show him like the boy different. Word. Gabe was like, I remember I was like, I had a couple rejoins where I just started rapping. Like I just started kicking bars. So I gotta get back to it, man. It's just like I want it to be good. And for it to be good, I need to like sit down for like 2 hours and put pen to paper and get busy. And like the thing with me, yo, like if I actually and I don't even I'm so busy during the day, I gotta schedule it out. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow it's today, Tuesday. I got till Friday. I'm gonna schedule out an hour session. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that give me 4 hours to put a 16 or a 32 together. 16 or 32 bars. Challenge. This is all recorded. This is all on wax. So I have to come through now. And yo, Gabe, I forgot you sent me the let me peep this. Let me cut the mic off. I'm the king of New York, Mellow. Shout out to Boogie. R.I.P. Pop Smoke. And yo, I appreciate Judge. He tried to change this song. A couple years back. Was it last year or 2023? Maybe. He tried to change the song, and we were like, we told him no, nope, nope. A Boogie featuring Pop Smoke. Hello. Just the way that those keys hit when you're in the stadium, that doom, 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 doom. You just know what time it is. MVP. 888-808-1019. So yeah, what other lineup has 3 MVPs? The Dodgers had 3 MVPs. Mookie is back healthy, it seems. Shohei, obviously. But Freddie Freeman slipped. He tweaked his ankle, his surgically repaired ankle, entering the shower. I'll leave it at that. Whenever those things happen at home, you know what? That's funny too. I just was thinking about how like it's so early in the season, and with the Yankees, I literally pray for health. Like when I say my prayers, and I pray that they stay healthy, and I'm like, hopefully nothing happens like off the field. They're human beings. Anything can happen off the field. So Freddie Freeman is down. You know who else is down? And that sets up him to miss his opportunity to get back on the mound in Citi Field. Max Scherzer. The Blue Jays place Max Scherzer on 50-day IL with right thumb inflammation. Supposedly he had a lat issue that he was talking about is definitely connected to his thumb. He was in line to pitch in Citi Field for the Queens opener, and now he's out. Well, he's old, and what do you expect when these guys get old? What else in baseball? We already talked about Jurickson Profar. We talked about Roki Sasaki. Oh, Ellie De La Cruz was on cycle alert. Ellie De La Cruz went 4 for 5 with 2 homers, 7 ribbies, 11 total bags. If you had the Ellie De La Cruz parlay, you probably hit 4 runs and a stolen base. Phenom. He is a freak. And I think he gets jiggy with those customized bats as well. Ellie De La Cruz, I think, was a triple shy of the cycle tonight. And Rami just told me somebody else who hit for the cycle. Carson Kelly from the Cubs. Garrett Crochet, 6 years, $170 million. I hope he is not all that they say that he is. But if they're paying him like that, he's their opening day starter. He is. We're gonna see him. We're gonna see him. It is what it is. 888-808-1019. Not baseball news, but I got to give a shout out to my Devils fans. Mark was in the chat. Like, come on, Keith, give a shout out to the Devils. I see you. Nico Heischer, the captain, will lead us. Marquee. The Devils handling the Minnesota Wild. They win 3-2 in a shootout Saturday while everybody was at Prudential Center. And the Devils were not. They beat the Minnesota Wild 4-2. And, shout out to CJ Mosley, bro. I'm in the bar Saturday because we did the Reds Beer Garden watch party for March Madness, sponsored by Bud Light. You probably heard the ads for it. WFAN, we're set up outside. We have the Papa Shot set up outside. It starts raining. I come inside, and before I go inside, I'm like, yo, that's CJ Mosley. And I'm just surprised when people see celebrities or athletes or prominent people and they don't realize. But also it's cool to leave people alone. But I made his spot hot because I'm like, yo, that's CJ Mosley. And I'm like, I'm about to rap with him. I'm about to get a flick. If you look at my Instagram or you look at my Twitter, I posted it. CJ Mosley's not with the Jets, but he was for these last couple years. And, me not putting 2 and 2 together. I'm wearing a Duke jersey, a Sheldon Williams jersey. And I didn't go to Duke, but I just knew to wear a Duke jersey. Used to be a Duke fan, to blend in with the Duke fans at Prudential Center. And I see CJ Mosley there, and Reds is packed. And I've been there for Devils games. I know how American Whiskey Reds, that whole streak is packed out. It is dumb packed where CJ Mosley is not even in. Like, he's standing by the door. And so I pull up on him. I'm like, yo, what's good, bro? I'm like, what you doing here? He's like, well, like, 1, it's the offseason. 2, I did go to Bama. And I wasn't even thinking about it. He went to Bama so long ago. I wasn't even thinking about him being a Bama alum. I'm just thinking like, yo, it's mad cool for an NFL player to be out here drinking and socializing with the people. I'm sure he doesn't live that far from Newark. I'm sure it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. He probably had good tickets in there. That's one thing I will say. I met a couple Alabama alumni in there. I didn't meet one Duke alumni. And it's funny because I was on air talking about my experience as a Duke fan when I was younger. Like, I was in college, went to the Izod Center to see Duke versus Temple. And there was this one Temple fan wearing us out. And he was, sing the fight song. And he's singing the Temple fight song. He's like, not one of you can sing the Duke fight song because you didn't go to Duke. You're all a bunch of front runners. He's like, you guys didn't go to the school. Like, you realize how lame that is? He's like pointing at grown men and women and families and kids. Like, you know how lame it is that you didn't go to Duke and you raised your kids to be Duke basketball fans? Like, this guy was drunk going in. But I'm sitting like a couple rows away from him, and I'm wearing my JJ Redick jersey at the time. And I'm like, he's right. He's right. I didn't go to Duke. I love the team because of TV. Anyway, 888-808-1019. The Izod Center is over there in the Meadowlands. And I'm not going to get into it, but the Giants, Joe Shane, he spoke today. I just don't care what anybody says. You don't know what guys are going to do. With that number 3 pick, they should take a quarterback, but of course, they're asking him about the signings. He said, going into it, we can go any which direction we can go and play a game right now. No, you shouldn't be playing any games, Joe Shane. He said it doesn't force you into a corner or force you to have to take something based on need. It gives us the opportunity, or it gives us the optionality to go in many different directions. Okay. I like the answer because you don't want to, you want to throw people off your scent. You don't want to telegraph your moves. He said, if you're talking about where we're picking, you'd like that guy to be able to be a franchise quarterback that you can win. You're winning the NFC East every year you're trying. The ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. If you're taking a guy that high, they got to be able to check those boxes. Some of you don't feel like Shador Sanders could be that guy. I think he could. Big Mac is in here. I was listening to Big Mac one night talk about, like, Eli Manning. And as we're coming off the heels of Eli Manning not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, was Eli the most talented quarterback in the NFL every year that he played? No, never. Not one year. Was he the most athletic guy? Did he have all the intent? He had the name. He had a good college career at Ole Miss. He just was clutch. He had a slow heartbeat when it mattered the most. I think Shador has some of that. We know he has the name. Anyway, I don't have enough time. But with the Jets, I like how they're endorsing Justin Fields. But at the same time, like I heard Darren Muji endorsed Justin Fields. But then Glenn said, hey, he's QB1 and is written in pencil. Doesn't mean Tyrod won't be on his heels. Good. Embrace competition. Iron sharpens iron. They should make each other better. I think we're going to be surprised with how dynamic Justin Fields can be. I'm going to leave it alone because I got a lot of flack for my take on that too. And whatever, you're going to get flack if you have public takes and you say something that like people haven't seen and don't believe yet. But anyway, Jets and Giants, I don't think they're moving the needle. 888-808-1019. I got 10 minutes left. Let me get the rest of these calls in. Jarvis is up in Harlem. Jarvis, you're on the fan. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for the call, Jarvis. I'll say this. Last year is over. These games count now. Let's focus on this year and not get too far ahead of ourselves. I know I had a tick where I said I don't think the Yankees or the Mets win the World Series. I'd love to be wrong with the Yankees. I'd love to be wrong. Them beating up on the Milwaukee Brewers, am I going to come here and say, World Series? Hell no. No. I'm also not going to come in here and say it must be the bats. Just like, with Jordan, it must be the shoes. Just dumb. I think that they were very comfortable in Yankee Stadium, right? I saw that too. Oh, people complain about the ballpark. I'm like, this ballpark has been here since 2009. Like, why are we still talking about the ballpark? Then I saw Jake Bowers hit a short porcher. I'm like, Jake Bowers knows his way around the Bronx. He's been here before. He knows that this ballpark is available to all who take at bats in it. It's just corny. It's just like, Yankee haters, Yankee narrative. It is what it is. Can't get too far ahead of ourselves. Can't jump to conclusions. We jumped on a few topics tonight. Like I said, now I think after the Brewers got smacked in their opening day in Milwaukee, their home opener by the Royals, people are like, oh, they're trash. They're actually not good. I was like, yeah. Nestor Cortez, their number 2 starter. And shout out to Nestor. Respect. I told somebody Saturday, I'm like, I felt so bad for Nestor. But then the Yankees tried to give the game back. It was 4-3 before I knew it. Can't predict baseball. But with Nestor, like some of you remember, there's some people listening. Shout out to my boy Gabe in the chat. There's some people listening that have been listening to me from the jump. Like Nestor went out of his way to DM me. He's like, yo, me and my girl listen to your show. You're the GOAT. I'm like, nah, no way, bro. I'm like, you're the man, bro. Like, we really rock with you because you're a regular looking dude. Remember when Nestor was seen on the subway? Nestor used to stay in Jersey. I know where he used to stay at. Like, something I said on Twitter over the weekend is Nestor Cortez is good in the Bronx forever. He's good in New York City forever. 10, 20 years from now, when someone sees Nestor, they're like, Nasty Nestor? Yup, it's me. Like, you're good. And even though he didn't win anything with the Yankees, he won over Yankee fans with his mustache, with his leg kicks, his timing, his cleats, and just the underdog mentality, the Hialeah kid. I hated for him that, you know, he was out there with the blonde hair, getting rocked. He's like rubbing up the ball, like he's just confused, rubbing up the ball like that's gonna help. And it was historic. Oh, that's what I said. I was gonna tell my story. That would be a good way to get out of here. So Saturday morning, I'm a fiend for the stadium, and it's like when the stadium is back open, I'm a fiend for the stadium. But like I'm older now. I have a wife, I have a son. And since I have been working this nighttime job, like we are on opposite schedules. I leave the house, they're sleeping. When they wake up in the morning, they're quiet because daddy's sleeping and they go about their business. And by the time I get up, they're out of the house. And, you know, so Saturday comes and I hadn't seen them because like I was at opening day. I did the show Thursday night. So my wife has this idea, like the weather's nice. Like I want to go to the park. I want to put out a blanket and like, you know, bring food and have like a picnic with Jack, our son. And I'm just like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's get that done, I guess. I'm like, hell nah. I'm like, it's Saturday. It's about to be 77 degrees in the Bronx. Max Freed is about to be free day. Like, nah, I'm just in my head. I'm like, hell nah. And something I used to say to myself when I was younger, I'm like, if you can go to the stadium, why wouldn't you go? Like when I was young, I wanted to go to the stadium and I could not go. I physically couldn't go. I had no transportation, no money. So I'm like, I'm sitting there Saturday. Like I know I can drive to the stadium and I'm monitoring the traffic. It's 37 minutes from where I live. I'm like, oh. And so my wife's like, are you going to go to the game? And I'm like, I don't want to ditch you guys, but I do need to go to this game. And I had that feeling like, yo, they like today could be like it's warm. They were just in spring training. Like I'm not even going there to drink or link with the gang, but like I want to go see the game live. It's Max Freed's first start, like Nestor's pitching. Like I gotta go to this game. Then when the lineup came out, I'm like, bruh, I'm like, yo, I don't want to sit in the picnic and I don't want to sit on a picnic blanket in the park. That park will be there forever. We can do that at whenever. We do that when it's not, when the Yankees are on the road, when it's not. I'm like, it is rare. I'm like, I went in 2021, I went to all of the Yankees home games in April, and they were freezing games. I'm like, it is rare that the second game is like it's 77 degrees. Shout out to my boy Batista. Batista had the suite, and Batista I had talked to weeks before about pulling up to the suite, and he's like, well, I'd be seeing you today. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm like, I'm trying to work on it. I'm like, my wife doesn't really want to go to the game, but then I was able to convince her because I'm like, she knows Batista. She's been in Batista suites for years now. Shout out to Batista. He's one of the realest. You guys might see him on Twitter. You might say like diehard Yankee fan, season ticket holder, just blesses people and puts people in the suites. And he's literally created this like Yankees Twitter IRL, like in real life community that like we see each other in his suites. And like he's got the magic touch because that game was insane. But what was insane about it too, I bring my son. And my son's learning. He's like, Yankee game, baseball. And he sleeps in the car. So that was the first win where I'm like, all right, he napped in the car. But like he napped in the car. And then once he got up, he was on 10,000. He was geeked up as soon as like I could like even in the line, I'm waiting in line to go in. I'm putting him down. He wants to go under the ropes. He wants to pull on somebody's jeans. I'm like, bro, get back. So I'm just holding him in my arm. Like, all right. Now my, like, not even like my, not for nothing, like my inner bicep is sore from how I just was holding him. He's getting big now. And I'm like, I got to hold you because if I don't hold you, I don't know where you're going to run to or what you're going to do. This kid's into planes, trains, and automobiles. We're outside in the line. He's just like, and bam, bam, police car. Like he's like yelling at the like cars rolling by. I'm like, this dude does not even know what's going on. Whatever. We get up to the suite. I put him in the suite. He's running around the suite. I'm like, we can't even say hi to people. This dude's doing just laps around one of the couches in the suite. And there's this metal thing that I'm paranoid. I'm like, he's going to take a wide turn. He's going to hit this. Then the ambulance, which he calls the ambulance, the bam, bam. I'm like, he's going to be in the ambulance. I don't want to have that issue. So then I pull him just to like a seat. I'm like, all right, let's watch the game. And, you know, they're doing the intros and he can see the Ford train in the background. And so he's just like, choo-choo train, choo-choo train. But the train just like, you see it for a little bit and it disappears. And then he's getting upset. He's like, more train, more train, more train. And I'm like, bro, it doesn't work like that. Like the trains run, like you'll see it when it comes. I'm like, Joe, focus, lock in on the game. And then when the game starts, it's just bum, 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 bum. It's just homer after homer. I got him in the air. I'm shaking him like a pom-pom. We're all just celebrating. But now I'm like so locked into the game. I'm like, this is historic. That never happens. And I'm like trying to watch the game. And, you know, my wife is getting annoyed. She's trying to set him up. He's watching the show now. It's called Gecko's Garage, but the guy is like European and he calls it Gecko's Garage. And so like my wife's trying to set up Gecko's Garage for him to watch. And I'm like, to hell with that. We're at the game. We can watch the game. And he's like putting his feet up on the table. Then he's crawling around like he's a younger baby. He's like on all fours crawling. He's eating popcorn off the ground. And he's bugging out. I'm like, bro, let me check your diaper. He peed his diaper. I got to bring him into the bathroom. He's fighting me on that. I'm like, this is not fun. Like, I'm doing all this. Volpe hits a 3-run bomb. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not here. I'm like, I'm at the game, but I'm missing the game. You're banned. I'm not bringing you back here. Terrible twos. Don't do it. You think it's a fun family day, and then you end up babysitting your kid, watching your kid. Like, I would have been better off doing that at home. But I'm glad I went to the game because it was a historic game. And lesson learned, I'm like, oh, you're banned from the stadium at least till next year. You got to grow up a bit because, like, we're not doing this. You never know what could happen. You can't predict baseball. Anyway, that's my quick show for tonight. Appreciate y'all. C-Mac's coming up next. He'll take you through the Mets game. Maybe some more Yankee stuff. Who knows? Maybe some Jets, some Giants. I'll be listening until I can fall asleep. But that's it, man. I got to go home. We'll do the same thing tomorrow night. Keith McPherson on the fan. That's another KM to 2 a.m. I'm out of here. Have a good one. All right, yo, I got to be out. Appreciate y'all. Straight up.